Okay. This video is a little misleading. It's not for everybody, and I'm sorry, but from the title, but I feel like this could definitely help some people, so I'm still gonna make it. Bro, even God wants you to ask her out. Okay, let me explain. Obviously, God doesn't want you to go out with everybody, ask every girl out, even if she's a Christian good girl that you feel like could be your literal wife. She could very well not be for you. And there comes a point when you're just gonna have to accept that. And if God's telling you signs and showing you answered prayers and showing you verses in the Bible that this person is not for you and you should not interact with them and you should not try to get their number or whatever or go out with them, then don't do it. If you think they're gonna be your spouse but God is telling you that they're not, don't do it. But if you've asked God multiple times to show you, hey, are they good to ask out or whatever, then freaking go for it. Look, not everybody you're gonna ask out is gonna work out. That's just a plain simple fact. We probably all know. But if God's not blatantly telling you to not pursue someone, and if this person also is Christ-like, has a good attitude, isn't like a fake Christian, isn't a lukewarm Christian, and they value God above relationships, and they read their Bible every day, and they're with God every day, and they have a good personality, and they're funny, and think they're attractive, then what's stopping you? God's not telling you to not go for it, and they meet that criteria, especially the God criteria. Go for it. And sometimes God will use people, will let you be hurt by people, will let you be rejected so you can learn, so you can grow, so you can realize, hey, maybe they weren't that person. But you've got to ask to make sure. You've got to ask that person out. You've got to see. You've got to look at their personality. Even if they're a great Christian, it might just not work out, and that's in God's will, and that's okay. He has somebody better for you. I've always thought that to myself. I'm like, man, I'm really wanting to ask this girl out, but I'm scared to ask this girl out. Bro, just think about it. If you ask the girl out and she says yes, then great. She said yes. And if she says no, then God has somebody better for you. And you'll probably stop caring what they think anyways, because you don't like them anymore. So what's the point? And plus, at least you tried. And if you don't ask them out, you 100% know the answer is always going to be a no. I don't know, I could be off on this, and if people in the comments see something that I say is wrong or not aligned with the Bible or theologically incorrect, please correct me. But I mean, I feel like this is right. Like, if God's not telling you to not be with somebody, and if you like them, and if they are Christian and godly and everything, and you also put God above that crush or that person you want to ask out, and even your family and your friends, if you put them above that person, and if you are completely content with being rejected and you do not need that other person, then ask them out. God wants you to ask them out. And maybe sometimes God won't always show you the most blatant and obvious signs that he wants you to pursue that person, because he wants you to do it on your own. Like, not on your own. God is always with you. He's always going to be with you. I'm not saying you're like pursuing this person alone. But what I'm saying is he might take like a slight step back from helping you to help you grow in that aspect, if that makes sense. Like, he won't always give you the most direct and obvious path. Like, he'll direct you, but he won't like make somebody show up at your doorstep, because you need to do it yourself. You need to ask them out. You need to not be scared. You need to grow. You need to do it. You can't let God do everything. He wants to help you. He will help you, but you can't let God do everything. You have to take some action for yourself, and you've got to ask them out. And if you don't ask them out, they might not ask you out. It might not work out when it could have. And yes, like, obviously, if God has somebody for you, then it'll work out no matter what. But if you never do anything about it, nothing's ever gonna happen. That's just basic common sense. If you don't get up and walk, then you're not gonna get up and walk. God could, like, force you to get up and walk, but he's not gonna do that because he's not a forceful God, and he needs you to realize that you can do some stuff on your own. Obviously, always be dependent on God. I'm not saying be independent from God, but that's more of a spiritual aspect anyways. Obviously always rely on God on any issues or not issues. Rely on God for your relationships. Rely on God for asking them out. Let God help you. But if you don't take action, then nothing's gonna happen. And especially if God's telling you to pursue them, if you don't take action, you're disobeying God. People have disobeyed God in the Bible before. Like, he has helped them, like the Israelites. He tried to lead them to the promised land, but they didn't listen and they wandered for 40 years. They still got to the promised land, but you know what I'm saying. If you don't ask them out, if you don't take your freaking chance and stop being scared, and God doesn't always, blatantly tell you, like I just said, ask this person out, but especially if he's telling you to, ask them out, because then you're technically disobeying God. What I'm really trying to say is, okay, usually God, I've said this so many times, usually God won't like blatantly obviously tell you that this person is their person. Maybe he will, maybe he won't. Actually, I could be totally wrong on that. He could tell most people that this person is their person. I don't know. Please correct me in the comments if I'm off about anything. But what I'm trying to say is, no matter what God is telling you to do, no matter what God wants you to do, no matter what God is convicting of you to do or not convicting you to do, if you don't do it, it's not gonna happen. You need to take action. Whoa, that rhymed. What the heck? But seriously, man, just go for it, okay? Go for it. Stop overthinking. Stop being scared. Just do it. Please just do it. Please just do it. Because if you don't do it, it's never gonna happen. If you don't do it, the answer's always gonna be a no. If you don't do it, you're gonna have regret. Please. I made another video about regret. This is kind of on regret. This is kind of on just asking them out and not caring what they think, because who cares at the end of the day if they say no? If they say no, you'll stop liking them, you'll stop caring what they think. If they say yes, well, they said yes, you got what you wanted. And be respectful about it, but please, stop overthinking it. I know it's freaking scary. But please, if you want to change your fear about approaching people and asking them out and just going for it and maybe being in an amazing Christian godly relationship that they could be your wife, go for it. And always keep in mind, this is kind of on the, ask them out if they're Christian kind of aspect, and don't ask them out even if they are Christian, but God's telling you not to. If they're Christian and God's not telling you not to ask them out, but shoot, what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, don't ask them out because you just want a girlfriend. You're dating. Christians are dating to find a spouse. We're not dating just to dating. We're not dating just to have a Valentine or a girlfriend or a boyfriend or just to have fun. We're dating to find a spouse, to keep it pure, and to grow in God together, and obviously put God above that relationship. But we're not dating just to date. We're not dating just to have fun with it. You can have fun with them, not in that way, but you know what I mean. And if you do get rejected, love on them like Christ would love on them, and be respectful about it. I've said a lot of things in this video over and over again, but it's important. Okay, so takeaways: don't ask them out if God's not telling you to ask them out. But if God isn't necessarily saying anything, or if he is saying something to ask them out. You won't care what they think after the fact if they say yes or no. Plus, if God's telling you to ask them out, they're gonna say yes. But even if God's not telling you directly, maybe he wants you to take the risk. Maybe he wants you to take the chance without you knowing the answer. I mean, that's what asking someone out is. That's why you're watching this video. That's why you're so scared, because you don't know what's gonna happen. But God has a plan. Everything in God's will happen. So it's either gonna be this person that you admire, which sounds great, will be your wife or your husband, or somebody better. So don't be scared. Go for it. Shoot your shot. Shoot your shot. If it's not against God's will, if they put God above themselves and above you, and if God isn't saying no on them, shoot your shot and date to marry. Those are the takeaways from this video. Thank you for watching my video today. That's about it. If you want to watch another one of my videos, click here. And yeah, thanks for watching. See you later. Ask the man.